Well, Paul, as I always do every morning before the show, I take a few minutes to go online and catch up on the news. And the events of the day just make the bile rise in my throat, I may as well admit. And things that catch in your craw are really the topic we're discussing this morning on Health Matters. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely part of it. Yeah.
And you sound fantastic, Paul. You've made an investment of several $1,000s in brand
Oh
new
my
recording
gosh.
equipment.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
let's let the cat out of the bag on that. That's because your devotion to this program is to that extent. You were
And the
willing to make
quality,
that. Yeah, the
the
quality is
quality. Yeah.
absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of on the cheapo $50 microphone, but I will next week have equipment similar to yours so we can have that
Now you're
deep,
going to start,
bassy.
now you're going to start a comparison, and that should be interesting.
No, I'm not. I'm not interested in comparison. The point I'm making is that we're both working as well as we can to make this show the best it can be, and that's
Indeed.
that's what we should
Indeed.
do. So
And,
expand.
and now we're doing some new material, and I know that listeners will appreciate that. So, are you concerned about acid reflux, belching, bloating, and excessive gas? More often than not, they're symptoms of a more severe condition, and suppressing them with medications is a lose-lose for you. Learn a safer approach.
We invite everybody to contact Paul directly at gethealthy at acunatural.com, acunatural.com. Get healthy at acunatural.com. You can send Paul your questions about these topics or any others, any health issue that's bedeviling you at the moment. Also, acunatural.com itself is a great resource for all kinds of health information. Acid reflux, Paul. So why is that a big deal? Is that something many Americans are dealing with right now or at any time?
Over 15 million?
15 million. 15
15?
million. 15 million
15?
Americans are having this issue as we
One
speak right
five.
now.
1 5. That's the estimate or the guesstimate. About half and half, men and women, primarily between the ages of 45 and 64. According to Big Pharma, though, it can't be cured, which is complete and total nonsense.
What do they mean it can't be cured? Don't they have medications available as treatments, maybe, as I think this out loud, treatments as opposed to cures?
Management treatments.
Okay, that's how they define these drugs they're selling.
Correct. Management treatments. But of course, like always, those medications have side effects, quite significant side effects,
Well,
the longer, the
is
longer
no,
you take them.
well, is nobody peddling, Paul, a solution that they're saying is the solution? Are they just saying this is chronic, too bad for you? However, we can relieve your pain and suffering with this pill.
I'm not, I kind of sort of take offense to your phraseology, Mr.
Okay,
Rod.
what am I
What
what
do
am
you
I
mean
saying?
peddling? What do you mean peddling?
Oh, that's the synonym for selling.
Well, I guess we're peddling it.
Well, no negative connotation required. You're not selling pills, are you?
No, but you said you didn't make reference to pills. You made reference to treatments.
I did, but I was speaking of treatments from a specific source, which does not include, those sources do not include present company.
Okay, I'll let you
There you
off the
go.
hook. I'll let you
Well,
off the hook.
I was never on the hook. I was just simply
I
making a
saw you.
statement.
I saw you on the hook in
You
my
saw me
mind. I saw
wriggling?
you on.
Well, that's your problem. That's kind of bizarre, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So acid reflux, what exactly is that? Why does it happen?
Well, generally, it occurs because a person's digestive system has been so compromised that it is unable to uh, essentially balance the acidic content of the stomach. Uh, Contrary to Western medicine, which believes that there is an excessive amount of acid, the truth of the matter and the cause is an underlying deficiency of stomach acid, which
That's
is,
interesting. That seems
yeah,
paradoxical that the loss of stomach acid or the absence of it is what causes too much acid.
yes. And so well, the absence of digestive hydrochloric acid in the gut creates a, a fermentation problem, an inability to completely digest the content within the stomach. And so what happens is that the content in the stomach that lays there undigested ferments and creates a chronic inflammatory condition. And if left unaddressed over a period of time, creates this reflux symptom, then you can literally create a problem with the valve, the sphincter between the esophagus and the stomach. And that will ultimately harden and or calcify and or before it gets to that point, at least malfunction. So you get this content, the stomach content, constantly refluxing into your throat.
That doesn't sound healthy. So you actually feel this like a burning sensation in your throat?
Yes.
And does it cause you to spit up? Or, I mean, not to get too graphic as we're still in the breakfast hour for some, but does it cause you to spit up or something like that?
Yep.
And so I'm guessing another symptom of this might be heartburn or something like that.
Yeah, there's a burning sensation felt generally behind the breastbone, excessive belching, sometimes with a sour taste, or even as you were asking about regurgitation. And yeah, I mean, and those are the simple symptoms.
And why is this most prominent among those middle-aged and older? You said a few minutes ago that this happens mostly with people, say, beginning at age 45. Why is that?
Well, it's because it takes a while of degradation of your digestive system to occur. Although I have to say, I've seen cases where people experience this in their teens.
Really? Could that be because of bad habits, bad dietary habits among teens? Or is it just a matter of your genetics, all of the above?
All of the above. But remember, genes do not manifest their qualities unless they're turned on. And the single biggest trigger is food. The biggest trigger is food.
So to my point, if you're eating a lot of that, flash fried stuff or deep fried food from your favorite local junk food emporium, that could contribute to this issue.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, the infamous sugar and all of the processed foods that you can think of. If you're eating fast food, if you're not eating foods that are made fresh, you ultimately will experience a degradation in your digestive system. By extension, by the way, that means a degradation of your immune system. And I'll talk about that in a second.
Paul, as you know, I occasionally fall off the wagon with your recommended dietary habits. And I will confess right now, the other evening I had some jalapeno poppers, which are just, these deep fried monstrosities that are served up at various establishments. And after eating those, a few of those, I didn't eat a ton. But not only did I have some burning sensations just because they're jalapenos, but I could feel that all the way up to my chest.
So I mean, was this act against yourself due to some sadomasochistic tendency, or was this just, explain yourself?
I would say it's more just going with the crowd.
Yeah.
There I am, and there's the gang, and there's a plate of poppers. So who am I to say? Who am I to say no? If it's any sadomasochism, I think that's probably a deeper issue that we can't explore on this program. But as far as I know, the answer to that is no. And it again is just a matter of just being with your friends and doing something dietary that is unhealthy. And I went along with that, but I noticed that extra effect. And in order to quell that, I had to have an extra glass of beer, which of course makes the whole experience even more healthy.
I just wanted to add the mental emotional component to, self-deprecating behavior.
Self-deprecating. I should say self-destructive might be more.
That's
more accurate.
And that too.
Okay. Well, I offer that anecdote as a means of saying that I'm as guilty as anybody else of sloppy habits with my diet, and so I think maybe eventually I could suffer some of these effects as a result.
Well, for all you folks out there who suffer from chronic digestive problems, if you're, if you're really tired of taking your Zantac or Prilosec, and or you're concerned about the side effects of taking such drugs, which includes impairing the successful breakdown of calcium. And of course, that's important because if you're concerned about bone health, having access to high quality calcium and a sufficient amount, that's one thing you wouldn't want to do. Or two, of course, it affects the microbiome, that is all of the various beneficial pathogens in your gut, like bacteria and parasites and viruses and the like. And three, of course, it absolutely impairs your ability to digest proteins, which in turn, of course, compromises your body's ability to maintain anything in the body that needs protein, like muscles and bones and brain matter and the like.
These drugs you mentioned, Paul, Zantac, Prilosec, what are those meant to do? Are they pain relievers, or are they meant to?
They're stomach acid suppressants. But as I shared with you, the acid reflux syndrome is really due to an insufficiency of stomach acid, not an excess.
But again, that sounds counterintuitive. So if you're looking for
Indeed.
relief, if you're in pain and somebody says, here's this, take this, and you will have less acid, that sounds appealing. So we have to understand are they making the problem worse?
Absolutely. Because you're introducing the potential for these side effects, three of which I listed. The fourth one is that it's also associated, taking these hydrochloric acid suppressants are associated with causing vitamin B12 deficiency. Deficiency of vitamin B12 can result in fatigue and mental imbalance, anemia, nerve damage. So the question is there a treatment which does not have these noted side effects? And the answer to that question is absolutely. I've been able to treat this condition for people in my office, constantly.
If you'd like to know more about this and many other health topics, acunatural.com, acunatural.com is an excellent resource. Plus, you can find podcast editions of Health Matters with Paul Rosen right there.